All right, everybody. Hope all is well. We are live here in Washington WREIA in June. If you're joining us, feel free to say hello. We'll give everyone a few minutes here. I'm not sure where you're tuning in from, but my office is in Rockville, and we just had a major thunderstorm come rolling through here. So hopefully we'll be able to stay online. Again, if anyone is joining us, feel free to say hello. It does help, just so people can get to know other folks on the stream. We can do a little networking. As I said, June 2021, hard to believe, as we continue to do Washington WREIA. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everybody is getting vaccinated, if you believe in that, and are out and about. Tonight, we're going to be talking about joint ventures. I'm going to give everyone just a little bit of time to come on. Ashley, hello. Thanks for joining us. Mark, as usual, thank you for coming on. We're going to be spending the next 40 to 45 minutes or so talking about joint ventures. And we're going to kind of go through the pros, the cons, and maybe most importantly, as we end this stream, is really talk to you and see how you can use joint ventures to either get started in this business or certainly expand your business. Terry, good to have you. Michael, great to see you. Don't think you've been online with us. Good to see you tonight. All right, we'll kind of get started. Those of you that are joining us know a little bit about Washington WREIA. We've been at this now for 18, 19 years, coming to you every single month. We do take off August. We do take off December, August, for people to get out and about. And I hope this year, some of you that maybe skipped a vacation last year can head to the beach or head to the mountains or head to wherever you like to take a little time away. And December, of course, is just kind of a hectic time for most people. So we do not meet in December. As this economy opens up, as people start coming out of their homes and coming back to life, if you will, we are going to be sending out a survey very shortly. Kind of look for that. See if you can answer some of those things. We're going to kind of see how we want to go forward with Washington WREIA. As many of you know, obviously, we've been online for the past, what has it been now, 14, 15 months. We certainly would like to get back together in person some. So we're going to just kind of give you a survey. And if you just have 5 minutes to fill that out, we're kind of read some of those answers and kind of figure out what we're going to do as we go forward with Washington WREIA. Certainly in July, we'll be back online. We're going to kind of give it the summer. But hopefully we'll have some new ideas and new subjects and new ways to meet come fall. So looking forward to that. As I said, tonight we are talking about joint ventures. And those of you that have tuned in before and know me and have gotten to understand some of my business principles, I'm a big believer in joint ventures. For those of you that don't know me and kind of some of my business practices, I buy, renovate, and sell properties. That is the core of my business. That's what generates everything else. I certainly do hold many properties commercially and residentially as long-term rentals. I've bought and sold many notes, performing and non-performing. I've been involved in a lot of different aspects of real estate investment. But early on, when I got started, I was out and still am looking for properties that we can purchase, renovate, and sell. And I realized real quickly that, number one, it was very difficult to scale. It was a hard business to scale because you're everywhere. You're not like a builder. We don't go out and buy 10 acres in, let's say, Capitol Heights and work with the county to get everything together. And then we, build whatever, 30, 40 townhouses, or even for that matter, 6 or 8 houses in a cul-de-sac. We don't do that. Our business is predicated on finding good deals, renovating them, and selling them. And we can be all over the map. If you're like me and you buy around the Washington, D.C. metro area, maybe up to Baltimore, maybe up to Frederick, maybe down to Woodbridge, whatever the case may be, you can be spread out. Like currently right now, I have a deal in DC. I'm starting a deal in Silver Spring. I have a deal in Rockville. I had a deal in Mechanicsville. I have a deal in Indian Head. I have a deal in Prince George. I mean, I have them all over. From a standpoint of coordinating all that renovation is difficult. So we're not in one place. So it's very hard to scale. And so using joint ventures can be a tremendous way to help you not only get started in the business, so we're going to be talking about that, but also a great way for you to scale your current business. We're going to talk about 2 aspects of that. Before we get started, though, I just want to define joint venture. Now, again, this is right out of Webster's, but I thought as I Googled this definition, it hit it right on, right on the head. It is exactly what it is. A joint venture is a business entity, okay, created by two or more parties, generally characterized by shared ownership. So both parties, or however many parties, have some ownership in the partnership, in the deal, in the venture. They share returns, they share risk, and they also share what they call governance. And basically, that is just dot your I's and cross your T's, part of the joint venture. That sums it up well, meaning that you have a couple different parties, a little different from a partnership in the fact that, in my opinion, a joint venture is kind of a shorter term project, right? We're not going to be partners in our business. We're not going to be partners in Profitable Property or JV and Realty or Washington WREIA. But as a joint venture partner, we can do individual projects together. And when that project is over, that joint venture dissolves and we can pick it up and start another one, or we can dissolve it and go on our ways. And there's obviously a lot of benefits from this. And there certainly is a lot of cons. Now, as I go through this, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. I will get to them. If I cannot get to them, I certainly can do it offline for you. You might not even know the questions to ask quite yet, but if I'm talking about something and you have a question, again, feel free to put it up on the screen. I promise you, somebody listening in tonight will have that same question. Be happy to take some time to answer those. All right. 4 reasons that you want to kind of think about doing a joint venture. And again, it's hard for me online to understand where everyone's coming from. I see some names on the screen, certainly, but I don't know your experience level and I don't know the type of business that you're after. Some of you might be after long-term rentals. Some of you might be after acquiring a multi-unit building. Some of you might be after what I do, buy, renovate, and sell houses. Some of you might want to build a wholesale pipeline. So again, joint ventures kind of enable us, all of us, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, enables us to get that business going quicker and also grow that business faster. Okay, so keep that in mind as I talk to you. 4 reasons. Number 1, what I've seen with joint ventures is you can access a new market. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Most of us are familiar or we get comfortable with the certain market. In my case, when I got started, I grew up and I knew Montgomery County. Okay, I knew DC a little bit. I knew Prince George's County a little bit, but I knew Montgomery County pretty well. And that's where I started my investing opportunities, my investing career. As I got to know more people and as opportunities came, I wanted to expand out of that region. Now, currently, we're in a very tight housing market for homeowners, people looking to buy houses, people looking to rent houses, and also us as investors looking to put new deals on the map. So in order for us, in some cases, to expand our geographical footprint, in order for us to expand our ability to find deals, we might have to go out of our comfort zone. So using a joint venture partner can be a great way to access that new market. Now, again, I know some of you listening have done this. I've done this too, where you can even go out of state. Maybe there's an area around the country that you have some familiarity with. Maybe you're from, we've heard people buying rentals in Pittsburgh or buy, renovate, sells down in the Carolinas, or maybe you're off into, different parts of the country. I've done deals in probably, 12 to 15 states, buy, renovate, and sells, and also some long-term holds. So you can use it to access a new market. If you're not familiar with that market, your joint venture partner, right, should have the ability to do some of those things. So it helps leverage you. It helps leverage your capital. It helps leverage your contractors, right? Maybe that joint venture partner has more contractors. It leverages your area. It leverages your market knowledge. So if you don't have intimate knowledge about St. Mary's County, just in our area. I did my very first deal in St. Mary's County over 25, I guess going on closer to 30 years. I don't like to admit it, but close to 30 years, 28 years or so. I've never done a deal in St. Mary's County because I didn't know it. I didn't know values. I had opportunities. People brought me different deals from there occasionally. But again, by combining my ability of things I know and combining my joint venture partners' ability to know St. Mary's County, it worked out very, very well. I'll share that deal with you a little later. And then just having boots on the ground. If you're doing deals in the Carolinas or in Pittsburgh or in Dayton, Ohio or Florida, it helps to have actual boots on the ground. So joint ventures can be incredible opportunity to access a new market. Number two, another advantage is you share risk. You share risk on a project. This is why larger deals are done many times with joint venture partners, because those partners in that deal, they want to share that risk. They don't need all the upside, but they also don't want all the downside. So us as small guys, I consider myself the smallest of the small, right? I mean, we're just a small real estate investor here in the Washington, D.C. metro area. There's times where it's good to share risk on a deal. I mean, you don't need all of it. Great if the deal generates $65,000. Yes, you might only make $32,500 if you have a 50-50 partner. But what happens when you lose money or you don't make a lot of money or other things happen? It's nice to share some of that risk. So look at that as a way. Now, you knew people. Again, I'm going to refer to people in different aspects of this business. You knew folks. Think about sharing that risk on your first deal. You certainly don't know everything. You think you do. You've been to the weekend boot camp. You've taken the online YouTube courses. You've read a lot of things. But that first 1, 2, 4, 5 deals, it would be incredibly beneficial to have someone there with more experience. So you're sharing certainly some of the upside, right? You might not make a king's ransom on your first deal, but you're also sharing the downside. So if you got in trouble, if things don't work out exactly as you thought, you have someone there to share some of that with in order for you to move forward in your business. So sharing risk of a project can be a great benefit of a joint venture. Number three, you're accessing skills and capabilities of others. Folks, we can't be great at everything. I know some of you want to be, and some of you are very, very good at certain things, but I know all of us have downsides. And so in a project, there's probably going to be things that you do very well, and there's probably going to be things that you're not as good at. Let's take, for example, maybe your joint venture partner has a tremendous ability to negotiate. Maybe they are just really good at that. They can negotiate vendors. They can negotiate the deal. They can negotiate with realtors. They can negotiate all these different aspects that it takes. And that negotiation prowess, if you will, their ability to negotiate is the one reason where you are partnering up or joint venturing them on a particular project. Maybe you're not very good at that yet. You can get better, but maybe you're not very good. Maybe, and this is very common, maybe you are really good at finding deals. Maybe you're good at putting capital together, but man, you know nothing about contracting. Folks, I was in this position. I knew very little about contracting. Now, I came into this business as a painting contractor, but that was just pure putting paint on exterior, interior of a house. I knew nothing about plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofs. I knew nothing about that. And quite honestly, even to this day, I don't really care that much about that. I want other people that are expert in those fields to be part of my team, if you will, and part of my joint venture. So if a general contractor comes to me and says, John, I have a great deal. Okay, I have a great deal wherever, we pick a place. And I know they have the ability to not only execute that deal, but get that deal done on time and on budget. Man, I'm all in. If I can bring some of my expertise, if I can bring some of my capital or my third-party capital, if I can bring some of my negotiation ability, if I can bring some of my contacts in the deal, that makes a great joint venture partnership, if you will. And so you want to have somebody as a joint venture partner that offsets your weaknesses. You don't want two guys or two gals, two women, two men, men and women, whatever the case may be, with both very similar skills. Like I don't want to necessarily, not that I won't, but I don't necessarily want to joint venture with someone that has the same skill set as I do. It's much better if they bring to the table something that you're not as good at or maybe don't have as much time. Remember, that can be a big part of this when we talked about leverage. Time. As I said, it's very hard to scale some parts of this business, and time is the great equalizer. We all have the same amount. So with systems and different partners strategically located, you can ramp up your business very, very quickly. So they bring special skills. So if you're a new person, you might want to find a joint venture partner that is really good at finding deals. Or maybe you have $50,000 to $100,000 and you're looking for someone that needs capital. Or maybe you're looking for someone that has the ability to execute a project. Now, folks, I think this is becoming more and more important as this business evolves, if you will, as this business matures, is that we have to have people doing deals. I don't care what it is, a wholesale deal or buy, renovate, sell, long-term rental, a commercial property, a multi-unit building. You need to surround yourself with people that can execute that deal. I'm seeing so many deals today that are turning into garbage, if you will, because somebody in that deal can't execute. They can't get things done on time. They can't understand contracting. They're way overpaying for contractors. They don't understand the nuances of a good negotiation or getting a contract from sign to close, right? So that can be a skill set. If you're a strong project manager, offer up those skills to other investors. You might be surprised at how valuable that can be to people. So there's all sorts of skills and different subsets of this that we can work as to be invaluable to other people as joint venture partners. Number 4, knowledge of new technique. Now this is a big one. This is huge, right? Is that if you're out there and you are going along, now this is more maybe for someone that has been in the business a while. They've proven a concept. They like something, one aspect of real estate investment. And folks, I read an article this week that talked about 85 different ways to make money in real estate investment. 85 different ways. Now I think off the top of my head, and you might want to do this exercise sometime, I come up with 25, but this was 85. And so think of all the different ways to make money in real estate. One of those is going to be your main core of your business. Mine has been buy, renovate, and sell. That's the way I've made my living. That's what I've gotten very good at. That's what kind of makes all of this run for me. But there's so many different techniques, and you don't have to be an expert in all of them. Why can't you find a joint venture partner in an area of the business that you're interested and bring some value to that partner and do a joint venture? For example, recently I had a breakfast meeting with a gentleman. I don't know if he's online or not. I'm not going to name him, but he has a skill set. He is a very good skill set, made an incredible living at that. But he wanted to enter into another part of this business, and that was really working on notes, on performing notes and non-performing notes. And we sat down, and as we talked, it was evident that what he needed was a little bit of my expertise, a little bit of my ability to instill confidence in him, to show him how in his current business currently, if he tweaked it, if he tweaked his language, if he talked a different way to different sources and network that he had, he could add this piece of his business. He could add this piece of business, buying and selling and holding, performing and non-performing notes, by literally just changing his language to a lot of his sources. And so what he needs is someone like myself with a little more experience to walk him through, first 1 or 2, 3 deals, and we would have a joint venture, probably partnership evolve around those first few deals. But my guess is after he does 1, 2, 3 of those deals with me, if he chooses me to be his joint venture partner, he will be off and running and on his own. He won't need me anymore. The point is you can add these new techniques with other people that are already versed in them. But remember, you have to bring something to the table. You can't just walk up to an Anthony Bahari that I saw just joined us, that is very well versed in many, many years of experience, many aspects of real estate. But Anthony certainly understands buying, renovating, and selling property. You can't come to Anthony and say, hey, I want to be your joint venture partner. Sign me up. Well, Anthony, what do you bring? Well, nothing. I don't know anything, but I'd like to be your joint venture partner. Anthony's going to say, hey, why don't you come and do my coaching program? That's probably what he's going to say. And he'll probably close you because he's very good. But the point is that now if you come to Anthony and say, hey, Anthony, I understand you do buy, renovate, and sell. So I understand you have a good crew and you have some access to capital. You understand the market. I have a property. It's a family-owned property that we want to sell. Needs a lot of work. I would like to joint venture with you. I'm sure Anthony would drop what he's doing, set up a coffee, set up a lunch, take a look at the property and come up with some kind of program, some kind of joint venture agreement that would work for you. You're bringing him value. You're bringing him an opportunity for Anthony to make money. You're bringing him something of value. That's what you have to keep thinking in your head. What of value can I bring? Folks, the people with the most value or perceived value in many cases are the people that make the most money out here. Hands down, hands down. And you don't always have to be the one that's controlling the deal or controlling the asset. Think about this week, the attributes and aspects of this business that you're good at, that you understand, that you can bring value to someone, and you'll see your income grow. And there's lots of examples, right? Maybe you've never wholesaled a piece of real estate. Maybe you've never owned a rental property. Joint venturing with someone early on that would be great. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. I compliment you. You compliment me. That's how this works. That is how this business can really, really work for you. Don't just ping pong to all these different aspects. Don't one week say, I want to find a rental property. And then next week say, I want to wholesale a property. Well, I heard that I could buy, renovate, sell houses in Florida. I want to do that. Folks, pick something, get good at it, and then add, layer it. But while you're doing that, you can build your skills, build your attributes or skill set, if you will, and offer it to other people in this business right now, right today. You can do that. You connect through social media. You can connect as our economy opens up to networking events. Folks, they're going to be well attended. People are ready to come out of their houses, do some of these things, and watch your business grow over the next few months. Can you put up that multi-unit building in Texas, Justin, if you're listening? All right, on your screen you see this multi-unit building. This is one of the first really forays into joint ventures that I came across. I've been in the business now for X amount of years, probably 4 or 5 years before this came across my desk. Now, this was from my mentor. This was from someone that some of you know. I refer to his name a number of times because he had a great impact in my life. His name was Ernie Kessler. And Ernie came to me. We had never done any deals before up to this point. And he came to me and said, John, I have a 65-unit apartment building in Arlington, Texas. And I want you to do two things. I want you to work with the second trust holder to try to negotiate the second mortgage down. He knew I liked negotiating. I had, ran a business before I got into this. I've always kind of liked negotiating. Ernie helped me learn how to be a better negotiator. He said, go to this second mortgage holder and try to get this mortgage down so we get a better deal on this building. Once you do that, if successful, I'd like to joint venture with you. Your role, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to be able to have the ability to go down to Arlington, Texas, analyze these units. He also knew that I was renovating houses. And third little secret with Ernie is he was not a great renovator. He didn't have a lot of contracting network. He wasn't really very good at it, to tell you the truth. He did a lot more buying and selling, very light cosmetic rehabs. But he knew I had done some rehabs. And so he said, you could go down there and analyze the deal, put it on a spreadsheet, find some contractors, organize that, and run that project, basically as a project manager. And he gave me a great opportunity. He paid my expenses, and he paid me X amount of dollars per unit, whether they sold or they didn't sell, meaning I got paid as a project manager to get those units ready. Okay. And he said, if we sell, if it goes to sell, I will get a percentage of that sale, and or I will get a percentage of the cash flow if it's held as a long-term rental. Now, folks, again, as a 20-something, early 30-something guy, I jumped all over this. This was a great opportunity for me. I successfully did this, got the building, negotiated the second mortgage, went down to Arlington a number of times. Fond memories of it. My wife, Brenda, some of you know, came down with me. She's very good with spreadsheets. We walked the properties, we put it all in, had a very good plan, found some contractors. We had some bumps. We had a gas leak. We had problems with the city a few times. We had to get people relocated. There's always a few bumps, but it went fairly well. And again, walking away from that, I realized that, hey, this is an ability to leverage me out, right? This is an ability to take some of my skills and leverage me out. I can still do my JBN deals. I can still do my deals with my contractors, run those, make sure those are going well. But that extra, that juice, if you will, that revenue kind of igniter that I needed came from kind of realization that joint ventures was the right way to go. I was not responsible for the capital on the backside of this building. I was not responsible for the monthly payments that were required in order to get this renovated. It allowed me to really focus on what I did well and do it well for him. So eventually we had the units rented, we had an offer, he got paid very well, I got paid very well, and it worked out for everyone. That is, the perfect example of a good joint venture project. And I know those of you listening, tuning in here, I know a lot of you have done this too. It's a great way to leverage out. Now, let's talk a little bit about the downsides. Let's talk about the downsides of joint ventures, because there are many. So if I had to sum up the positives, I think it's the ability to enter into a new market geographically. If you're looking for that, let that joint venture partner have the ability, the knowledge of that new market for you. Great way to add techniques. Great way to add, if you're weak in something, great way to add that technique to your business by joint venturing with someone. A great way to leverage your time, leverage your capital, leverage your knowledge. All of those things is very important with joint ventures. And finally, as I said, just the ability to learn new techniques is fantastic. Now, I should have started out this presentation by letting you know I've made a lot of money by joint ventures, a lot. It's been tremendous. But downside, I've also lost a tremendous amount of money with joint ventures. So I've made, and I'm hopefully, if I add it all up, I do believe I made more than I've lost. But I tell you, the losses hurt, and the losses are painful. And the losses, I basically, thought through it. I don't think JBN Realty, my investment company, has ever lost a nickel on a deal. Now, there's been times where we've, not made a lot. There's been times where we could probably split a Happy Meal at McDonald's with our profit. I'm not saying every deal has been a home run, far from it. But my losses and my heartache and my pain have come from joint ventures. And so I want you to listen to some of this too. So hopefully you don't make some of these same mistakes. Now, some of it was, aggressive, young and dumb, willing to take some risk. And some of it was not knowing. And some of it was just bad luck. I mean, everyone put their best effort forward. The deal just didn't work out. And that happens too. But the downside of joint ventures, number one, the objectives of the venture are not clear. I've had projects where we initially went in with this, and then midstream we turned around and decided to do something else. Maybe did an addition, maybe to expand a floor, maybe to redo a basement. Things that weren't initially talked through, initially agreed upon, and midstream of the deal, something went awry. That got to be very clear in your goals and your prints and what you're trying to accomplish in that joint venture. The communication between partners was not great. I mean, I've had a few of those things where the partner was very difficult to reach, or they were just, they weren't focused on that deal. I have deals where the partners expect different things from the joint venture. This might be the biggest one, where you don't really lay out who's doing what and who's putting what capital in and the expectations of the profit. Sometimes when you have an expectation of a profit, when you're working with someone new to the business, they can't understand how you only made $48,000 when the spread was $180,000 to begin with. You didn't do a good job of educating them or sitting down with them and showing them all the costs that are involved in this. And there's been times where at the end of the deal, where I thought the deal went very well, the joint venture partner was disappointed with the profit because they thought it'd be much greater. Well, that's more at the fault of me than them, because I know what these profits are and I know the cost of these deals. And sometimes new folks that come in have outsized expectations. The work and resources aren't distributed equally. Certainly that's been the case in a lot of my joint ventures. I've had a little bit more experience than a lot of my joint venture partners, and the work and the resources have been skewed toward me more than them. Now, going into that, if that's the expectation, that's fine. But if you're going into it thinking, profits are 50-50 and workload and resources are 50-50, and that's not the case, that's not quite probably as fair as it should be. Different working methods and management styles, man, this is a big one. We are very good. One of my skills that I'm very good at is execution. I learned process very early in my life. I'd like to write a book on process one day. I understand A to Z very, very well. And a lot of our projects go A to Z very, very well. Well, I see other people that want to go A to Z, back to B, over to L, into H. I mean, they're everywhere. and it's a cluster mess. They still eventually get it done, but their process is very, very disjointed, and that leads to a lot of problems sometimes in deals. Lack of commitment, misunderstanding, and conflict. I mean, it can go on, but I can sum it up with this. If you want to do joint ventures with people, number one, analyze the deal. That's the simple part. Take a look at the deal, understand it, know what the profit potential is, know what the risk is, and put the deal together. The big caveat with these, and something I still haven't figured out to this day, is that whenever a joint venture project goes poorly, generally, in my experience, it hasn't been the deal. The deal's been solid. It's the person or persons. And something happens in that person's life that throws them off. It could be marital, it could be divorce, it could be addictions, it could be scatterness, it could be lack of capital, it could be a lot of things, but it's generally them. It's generally the person. The deal was fine. The deal would have worked, but the person failed in some way. And you got to be careful with that. You got to interview your partners, carefully. You got to look at their experience. You got to look at their track record. You got to have both parties have to have some risk in the deal. And I think if you do that, you're going to find some excellent deals. But be careful about that. All right, let's throw up a few examples, and then we're going to show you how you can do this for yourself. Before I get to that example, real quick, is after I came back from Texas, I realized that joint ventures, man, this is a great way to expand the business. Again, I could still do my own deals, but if I could have one or two or three going at the time, more, that would be great. That's hence how I started Profitable Property. The whole mission statement of Profitable Property early on was to find 5 other investors that could do 5 deals, okay, at $10,000 per deal back then. So that was an additional $250,000 of revenue for my company. That's how it came about. And I started that, thought I could start training people, start working with people. And at the same time, I did some advertising. I advertised my strengths and I advertised what I was looking for. And I met a gentleman, I won't name him. A lot of you don't know him, but he has been a quiet investor in this area for many, many years. And he and I have done literally probably $100,000 each in revenue for each other's companies for the past 15 to 18 years. We recently, basically, I think we've done our last deal together. He had some personal things and some health issues, and I think he's going to step away now from the business. So I think that streak is going to end. But for years and years and years, we did different deals together all across the Washington, D.C. area, and we're very, very successful at it. He had a good skill set. I provided the things that I could do, and we did very, very well together. And that literally came off a very simple ad that I took out. Back then, it was just through print ad, and looking for joint venture partners and looking for people that had different skill sets than I. So it's really, really lucrative if you find the right joint venture partner. So again, focus on your strengths and look for some of those weaknesses. Why don't you throw up that property in Mechanicsville down here on the screen? Can you throw that up there? Okay, this is a property that I recently completed. Again, this is a classic joint venture. This was the property I mentioned to you down in St. Mary's County. This came from a original joint venture where I partnered with a builder. I partnered down with a builder down in Southern Maryland. We had done a few deals together, and he wanted to build a few houses. Now, I'm not a builder. A lot of you know that. I don't build. I really have no interest in building. I think it's a very great part of real estate investment. If you want to build new homes or build apartments or townhouses, great. But I know that was not one of my skill set. I had aspects of that I could bring to the table. And this builder approached me and said, would you like to build a couple houses in Southern Maryland? I said, yes. And the deal went very, very well. And we bought and sold a few pieces of land. He built a few houses. And through that, we met a building inspector that we got friendly with. And he referred us to this deal. Now, again, that joint venture continued on to these other deals that kind of sprouted from this venture. And this was just a very simple renovation, very creatively put together. The owner financed this for 2% on the original purchase. We bought this for $252, 2% interest, no money down. It was a very cosmetic interior fix. You know it, kitchens, not even bathrooms, flooring, some paint. The windows were all there. Oh no, we did do new windows. And, we recently closed in this for $400 and made a very, very healthy profit that was great. It was great for both partners. Both partners did what they said they were going to do. My joint venture partner lived closer to this house. He was some of the day-to-day. I provided some capital. I provided some contractors, and it went very, very well. And we hopefully will do another deal in the future as kind of expand down, maybe a little bit down towards St. Mary's County, which again, I'm not super familiar with, but I don't mind driving 45 minutes to an hour and a half to make, $40,000, $50,000. I think most of us would sign up for that right now. So again, using other people to help you continue to generate revenue for your company. So that's kind of the key here tonight. Another example, and then I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to show you how you can do this too. Early on, when I was just starting out, I was buying pre-foreclosures. I was knocking on doors, sending letters, trying to put deals together before people's houses went to auction. I did go to auctions, and I met people at auctions. And that's why I always encourage you folks to network and keep names and keep in touch with people. But I met a gentleman, I'll name him. I haven't talked to him in many years. His name was Aaron Ruderman. Aaron was a young investor just like me. And we got friendly at the auction, and he mentioned that his dad, and he would vouch for this, his dad had $400,000 on the line of credit on a home that he owned in Burtonsville. And of course, that got my interest because $400,000 seemed like $4 million back then. A lot of money, still is today. And Aaron mentioned if we could find a deal, or I could find a deal, we could do a deal together, and he could bring some of that capital, and we could do some houses. And so we formed a nice little joint venture for a number of deals that we bought at auctions. And that, again, all those experiences got me thinking that, hey, leverage, using other people, not taking all the profits to myself, is a great way to expand and get involved and start this business. Because folks, I couldn't go to auctions back then. I didn't have the $15,000 lying around in my bank account that I could put up as a deposit. I was just starting out. I was doing some deals. And so meeting other people to offset some of your weaknesses will allow you to get started and get going in the business. So I hope some of that helps you, some of the things that I shared. Now, in this portion of the program, if you will, the show, is I want to talk to you specifically, and I won't take too much more time. I know people are it's tough to sit and Zoom things too long, but just how you can use this. So let's talk about different people in different places in their business. Now, if you're brand new, if you're online here, you've never done a deal, some of this is all new to you. I encourage you to continue to get educated, surround yourself with good people. You don't have to spend a fortune to get educated. You don't have to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You can find a local investor, take them to lunch, pay them back by bringing them a deal. And let them help you and kind of zone in on what you want to do and how you want to do it and what your goals are and what the area you want to do and some of those things. Whoop. I'm hearing something. Maybe that's not part of this broadcast. I think I hear a smoke alarm. That's not here in this building. All right, back to this. Sorry about that. If you're new, using joint ventures to get started, but you have to bring some value. You have to bring something in order for that joint venture partner to want to take you on. Use that deal. If you can find a deal, use that deal as a way to get educated and a way to make some money. If you're in the middle of this business, so you're intermediate, let's say, you've already bought, renovated, sold some houses, you're in the wholesale business, you're doing well, you're making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, whatever the case may be, and you want to expand your business, okay? You want to expand it out. Using joint ventures is a tremendous way to expand your geographical area, great way to expand techniques, great way to expand just leverage, just leveraging out. And folks, attorneys can put these things together. They're not scary. You can do this just like you're doing other deals. You keep one foot in and one foot out. You're spreading yourself out a little bit. You're growing. You're expanding. If you're a long-term investor like me, I would continue doing joint ventures. It's a great way in some cases. Our fireman, Gary, is saying it's a fire alarm. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it's off. So maybe it was in our building. I'll let you know in a few minutes if I see smoke. Okay, back to this. If you're a long-term investor, using joint ventures can be a way for you to maybe take your foot off the gas a little bit. Maybe you're not required to do how many deals you want to do, 30, 40, 50 deals a year, or 10, 15, 20 deals a year, whatever the case may be. Joint ventures can allow you to take your foot off the gas a little bit if that's what you want to do. The great thing about real estate is that you can do it forever. You can do it till you're 80, 90, 100 years old. Doesn't matter. But having good joint venture partners can be a great way for you to kind of slow down a little bit, take your foot off the gas if that's what you want to do. Use some of your capital, use some of your skill set, bring new people into the business, and you can kind of manage them and watch them and still make some good money. So it has a place for everyone that's in this business. Newbies, intermediates, if you will, people right in the midst of it that are just kind of going at it hard every day. And then also people that are maybe, want to slow down a little bit and don't want to do quite as many deals or don't have to do quite as many deals. So use joint ventures to your advantage. And I think it's going to help you quite a bit. Folks, if I can help you with any of this, okay, if I can help you with any of this, I offer, and many of you know this, I offer 3 one-hour sessions. I've dumbed it down as much as I can, meaning it's really targeted. It's really specified. It's 3 one-hour sessions. I charge $500. And what we focus on in those 3 1 hours are whatever you want to. But for example, if you wanted to focus on your skill set, and I'll find it, and how you can use that to create joint ventures to make you $10, $15, $20, $30,000 down the road. Just text mentor to that number. Or if you want to do anything, if you want to learn how to buy notes or buy, renovate, and sell, or set up your wholesale business, whatever aspect of real estate investment that you're interested in, and you want just a primer, just a way to talk with someone with some experience and guide you in the right direction, go ahead and text that mentor to my cell phone. I'd be happy to meet you and to help you. So whatever you might need, just let me know. Again, I hope some of this was helpful. If anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them on the screen. I know a lot of you have done joint ventures. I know a lot of you probably have opinions on these, good and bad. As I look back at my 25 years plus of doing this business, I don't regret getting into joint ventures. It has, as I said, made me a lot of money. It's created a lot of good, solid relationships over the years. It's added that additional revenue to my company, all right, that's allowed me to do different things within my business. Can take some of that money and put it into some rental properties. And by the way, back in 2008, my greatest joint venture, I should share this with you before we sign off. My greatest joint venture back in 2008, I finally convinced a couple of my long-term capital partners, if you will, my people that provided me capitals, that now was the right time to start buying some rental properties and to hold them for a period of time for cash flow and appreciation. And they finally came on board, and we had the ability. I don't know if you remember, we had a mantra there, march to 100. My goal was 100 properties. Well, we didn't hit 100. We were too late. I couldn't convince them fast enough. But we did buy in the low 20s. The low 20s, these are single-family properties, townhouses throughout Montgomery, Prince George's, Howard County. And we bought them at the right time. I bought them at a discount, and I had the ability to rent those properties. And then last year, before the pandemic, the decision was made that it was time to unwind some of these. Some of the partners, one particular was getting a little bit older, and I think he was getting a little bit nervous of being in partnerships, joint ventures with a couple guys, and he wanted to kind of unwind some of these. But our timing was great. As you know, some of these properties have accelerated in value. We kind of rode the pandemic a little bit, and we have sold over half of those with tremendous returns. Now, where did I fit in? I fit in a lot of different ways. I fit in, number one, identified the properties. I got paid for that. I updated the properties. I got paid for that. I manage the rental properties. I got paid for that. As we sell them, I'm an equity partner. I'm getting paid for that. So every step of the way, I've been paid without any, I'm talking zero financial risk. Now, it has taken time, no doubt. In some cases, I think I put more time in than I've earned, but it's allowed us, our company, to generate cash flow every month. It's allowed us to have a piece of a larger pie. I mean, these things were valued at like, $7.58 million. So having an equity stake in that much property, that might have been harder for me to do just all by myself, taking all the risk, doing all the work, and especially with pandemic, if people didn't pay us and so forth, I didn't have to worry about some of those things as much. So now, again, you can do that with multi-unit properties, with storage facilities, with a bucket of notes. I know some people that buy notes here that are listening, do some joint ventures with other people to spread out the risk. Tremendous way for all of us to benefit from real estate by employing some joint ventures. So again, if I can help you in any way, you let me know. this deal isn't going away. This is something that I want to do to help a lot of you. I've met with some of you, and we've been very specific in our targeted 3 1-hour sessions. And if that leads to more, great. If it doesn't lead to more, that's okay too. I am open to joint ventures. If you have properties, if you want to wholesale, if you want a joint venture on a buy, renovate, and sell, whatever the case may be, I'm still active. Office is open. And finally, look for that survey. Look for that survey that we're going to be sending out to all our REIA members, all our REIA database. If you have just 5 minutes, just check a few boxes. Give us an idea of what you'd like to see REIA come back to, right? Come back to as we come out of the pandemic. If you want to do that, that'd be great. All right, let's see. If you're new to joint venture but not new to business, I'm a lender. How do you draft a joint venture paperwork? Do you use a lawyer or just do this as a casual agreement? Great question, Ski Slopes. No, I think you should have a professional, a lawyer, draw up something. This is what I've done with paperwork over my years. This has been from a power of attorney to a partnership agreement to a joint venture to even an LLC agreement. I hire a professional attorney, in this case, to write up a good joint venture. You tell them what you want. Each partner kind of weighs in. They maneuver it. They massage it. They come up with a good document. They send it to you. They send you a bill. Again, $500 to $2,000, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Depends on the complexity of the deal or the agreement. And then once you have that template, you can use that for other deals. You don't always have to go back to an attorney on every single deal. If that template is worked on and it's appropriate, you can use it for multiple deals. And that's kind of what I've done. But you certainly want a professional to have their eyes on it, just to make sure everything is laid out and started and stated. Maybe responsibilities, how much capital people are bringing, what the profit projection is, who's responsible. People always want to be 50-50 partners. Well, that's great on a 50-50 partner if you make money, but they also want to be 50-50 partners if you lose money. And you got to have the ability to make up some of that if you do have losses. That's not the goal. No one starts that out with that, but it can happen. So certainly good question, Ski Slopes, but certainly, yes, you want an agreement in place, nothing casual, nothing, over a cup of coffee. You want this talked about and then a professional to certainly write it up. Okay. Any other questions as we kind of finish up? This buzzing in my ears. Okay. Now it's stopped again. Good. Any other questions on joint ventures as we kind of wrap things up here? Okay, we're going to be back in July online, as I said. Folks, keep in touch as you're out there. There are opportunities out there, folks. Don't let anyone tell you that, there's no good deals. We are definitely finding some good deals out there. Lama Bryant, it's difficult to find contractors now, but contractors will do joint ventures with fix and flip. Have you ever done a JV with a contractor? Yes, difficult to find contractors. I got news for you. Lama, it's always been hard to find good contractors, the type we need, right? It's easy to find a contractor. You can go and find a very expensive contractor very quickly, but to find one that's affordable, that does good work, that has a license, that will show up on time, that will finish on time, that will be reasonable, it does take some work. That's one aspect of this business. One area, believe it or not, if you're just starting out, that I've had great luck with over the years is Angie's List. Believe it or not, I found great people on Angie's List. And just to tell you a little secret on finding good contractors, if you find one, make sure you're asking them who their buddies are in the business. So if you find a good electrician, they probably know a carpenter and a plumber that they've worked with that they can refer you to. But that is a process. That's part of the business of finding good contractors. I don't necessarily disagree with you now, as people are very, very busy. It's very hard if they don't work for you directly, which most of us don't have in-house contractors. It can be hard. But your point of JVing with a contractor, yes, I've JV'd with a number of contractors. I've always been mystified to why we haven't done deal after deal after deal, but a lot of mine have been 1 or 2 deals and then they're off doing something else. You'll find a lot of contractors are ADD. They're off to another thing. But yes, absolutely. One of the best joint venture partners for us is buy, renovate, and sell people are contractors. But again, you have to make sure that they bring to the table, they're going to do that work at cost. They can't make a profit on all the construction and still, go to the closing table and expect more profit. They have to do their part at cost. Okay. And so their profit is going to be, shared between you and them. But yes, it's very good. But remember, when you do that, if you come across a good contractor to JV with, Okay, make sure that you're managing that JV. Make sure you're managing that contractor. Don't just assume they're going to do everything that they're going to say. So there is some management to that too. But great question, and I agree. Finding good contractors is always a process. And again, Lemma, if you have specific needs, you can certainly reach out to myself, other members of WREIA. We can't use a plumber 40 hours a week. We can't. My carpet person can do as many carpet jobs as possible. My countertop person can do as many countertops as you can give them. My supply house can supply you windows and doors and kitchens, as many as you can do. So you can piece this together, but then finding the electrician, the plumber, the carpenter, the painter, and so forth and so on can be a little bit of challenge, but network with other investors, because if we can monopolize these contractors' time, it benefits us all. And again, prices are going up. We all know that. We had a talk last month on inflation, and the big question is it transitory? Meaning, is it going to go away as everybody kind of gets back to normal? I believe it's going to trend that way, but I still think we're going to have some inflation built into our economy now for a while. I think we're all getting used to it, and I think it will be here for a little bit of time. But we talked about that. If you want to look at that video or YouTube, you can. I think we're pretty dead on of what we kind of talked about there and what's probably going to take place. But again, nobody knows. I got out of the prediction business many years ago. We're really right around 08, where none of us, we can all say we saw it coming, and some of us did, some of us didn't. But getting out was another thing. So just keep reading, keep update on the news, and keep building that business. So again, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to end again. If any of you want to text mentor to my cell phone, if I can help you in any way, I'm more than happy to do that. Thanks for joining me tonight. Again, hopefully helpful. Spread the word on Washington WREIA as we kind of come out of this pandemic. We're ready to get rocking and rolling again. And everybody take care, and have a good midsummer here, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.